You take away from that first half was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's good to be going into a final series in good shape. We never take for granted how hard the game is and how difficult it is to get yourself in a position where you can finish top four and have a really good crack at it. So we feel well prepared. Felt like we played, obviously well in the first half. Off the back of playing well in the first half last week as well, to be honest, and obviously the second half took the gloss off that. But all in all, if you look at the second half of our season, we feel like we are ready to attack the final series and give it a good shake.
You got to 100 up at half time. Did you have an eye on that percentage, trying to take over Port Adelaide, getting to second spot?
Oh, a little bit, but there were competing priorities. We thought it was more important to manage Lawson Humphreys and Tom Stewart, which made it a little bit harder for the others. But yeah, we were aware of it. And again, you almost never come away. I can't remember coming away from a game in my time in the AFL thinking everything was perfect. So you'd always like a little bit more. But as I said at the start, if you had have said at the start of the season that we were going to finish top four, then I think we would have taken it.
So is Tom?
No, he's good. So it was almost one of those where it was irrespective of what the medical staff were going to say, that we were going to take him out of the game. And we did have a sort of loose plan to get Hughes in to get as close to a half as possible. So it did sort of match up a little bit there. It's a little frustrating when you have another one that you want to manage as well. But again, that was our priority rather than risking anyone just to chase the scoreboard a little bit more.
Is Humphreys is it a calf?
Calf tightness, yeah. So
you'd expect that to be interrupted both?
Those two guys will be fine. Yep.
You said earlier in the week you're a little bit on edge heading into this game. Was that kind of first half, to be 100 points a surprise to you? And off the back of that, is it, maybe a little bit of both of how you guys were playing and how they were playing? What did you just take away from both sides?
Yeah, days like this are a little bit difficult to analyse. And you're right, there was some, I wouldn't call it anxiety, but there was a bit of uncertainty going into the game. And so whenever you're in that frame of mind, I think it's good policy to get back to what it is you do. And I thought our guys focused on that really well and executed particularly well early in the game. It's hard to tell how much was them. I mean, they've got their challenges. It's it's a hard caper. But again, we didn't want to spend too much time thinking about them or their situation. It was more focusing on getting us right for a final series. And all in all, I think we've come away from the day feeling like we achieved that.
Jeremy Cameron as well, 9 goals, and the same in the books of the stat was 8 is his high for the Cats, 9 at the Giants. Was it nice to see him get that reward and do it in a few different ways over snaps, and then becoming that kind of key forward target to then go back and kick those set shots as well.
Yeah, even he's had a lot of shots this year, and he does have some difficult low percentage shots, but accuracy hasn't been his strength necessarily, but he fixed that up pretty early in the game. He goes into a final series in great shape, really confident in his ability, and we would too if we had that ability, but not many of us do. But he's physically really good too, which is good for us. And I think when I look at him, it's not up to me to help the opposition coaches, but he's just a difficult threat because he's a genuine key forward who can play as a ground level sort of roaming player as well. So, but it wasn't just him. I thought Ollie Henry was a threat. He had plenty of shots as well. Kick 4, probably could have kicked another. Well, kicked 4-4, didn't he? And not all of them were incredibly difficult shots, but that's a good sign that he's getting those shots. And it just felt like we had some guys who haven't necessarily had their best year that are coming into a really good form now. And if the team's good enough, then the rest of the year doesn't matter. It's kind of like where you qualify. It's like you don't get a prize for being the most consistent through the course of the season. As long as you qualify high enough, the prize comes for the team that plays best in the last month. And we feel like we've given ourselves a chance to be that team.
So on that point there, who of the sort of second tier most thought of players I guess, Manor, not that they're bad players, but Home,
Yeah.
Atkins and stuff. Who's the most, I guess, important to you going forward here?
No, I'm not going to give the opposition sort of, but I think I get the spirit of the question. So what, if I can answer it this way, and if you don't like it, ask it again. At the start of this season, I don't think we were forecasting that Ollie Dempsey would be as important to us as he is. We brought Sean Manor in thinking he could play AFL footy and force his way in for the first couple of games, didn't do anything wrong, and then just went out of the team because we got some players back. But he's in really good shape and understands our system and plays it really well. Now, this guy's been a really good player for us for a while now, but Jack Henry has had his challenges with injury and he finds himself in really good form now. And I think you referenced Max Holmes, but yeah, he's and look, I think I kind of feel like over the years it's sort of been a little bit of a battle to say, hey, it's not just Selwood and Hawkins and Dangerfield. We've actually got some other guys who we think are important contributors, and I'd probably put Tanner Bruin in that would be actually up there when you think of the guys that haven't had a perfect run through the second half of the season. For him to come in and play as well as he did today was a really good sign for us.
Well, broadly on the finals, it looks to a lot of us that there's more genuine chances from outside that top four than perhaps in previous years. How wide open do you see it?
I think it's going to be the same as the rest of the season. It'll likely come down to, a 15-minute patch here or there. And I agree with you. I think it's not just the teams who are going to end up in the 8, but I think that there are teams outside the 8 who have had their moments this year where they would say they could beat anyone. And that would be my assessment, well outside the 8. So that's, I think, one reason to be proud of the situation that we find ourselves in. It doesn't feel like it's ever been as hard to maintain consistency. So to finish top 4 is a great effort, but you sort of look around and you think, well, you've got to kind of acknowledge there's a bit of luck in that as well. But we're not here because we're so good. We've had a bit of luck along the way, and I suspect that the team that comes away with it in the next 5 or 6 weeks will have had that little bit of luck as well. And the teams outside the 4, I'm not. Besides the way the finals is structured in terms of the location of games and second chances and all that sort of stuff, I'd just throw a blanket over the 8 teams or 9 that are a chance to make it as we sit here now.
What will you do tomorrow? Obviously still top 2 a live chance. Will you have a look at scores and keep across it, or just let it play out?
Yeah, I think what will be from here. Hard to watch it as a fan, but I'll watch the games sort of with the assumption that we'll likely play some of them over the next month if we're good enough. So I wish I could just sit back and watch it and enjoy it, but what I won't be doing, if I could share a little bit with you, is hoping for something. We sort of went in and made the decision a little while ago that we've just got to look after ourselves, and if we play our best, we're confident. It's a slightly different situation if you're sitting there thinking, there are certain teams we can't beat. Now, I'm not saying we are going to beat them, but I'm saying it's possible.
Is anyone busting down the door to get back into the final? Just take a couple of each?
Yeah, there are a few. So the door's open for Guthrie and Hawkins. Our VFL fixture will have a bearing on that. We play next Saturday, and if we win that game, there's a week off. So that sort of adds a little bit of a wrinkle. Then we've got a group of players that are just right on the edge of the team that would be happy to play. I could rip through them quickly, but I'll miss someone. So you know who they are. Yeah. So that's on the table, but I feel like I've been saying the same thing every week, and it's not to be evasive. It's just that we just don't know. But what we will do is once it's off the table, we'll just tell you, so you stop asking. But no, it's well and truly alive. All right, thanks.